Yeah, morning all. Right. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right?
Yes, sir.
So Django framework. So here D is silent. D is silent, we say Django. So we have got different frameworks of Python. Different frameworks of Python, right? Yes. Django framework, Flask framework, Pyramid framework, Bottle framework, TurboGear. Okay. Django, Flask, Pyramid, Bottle, TurboGear. Among all these, Django is the mostly used framework. It's providing many flexible features. It has got its own database. It has got its own application server. With very less code at a rapid speed, you can develop a web application. Flask is also mostly used framework. Much Django is the mostly used and also Flask also preferred. So here, how to become a Python full stack. How to become a Python full stack developer, right? Yes. In Python world, there are three positions. In Python world, there are three positions. First one, backend developer. Front-end developer, full stack developer. Backend developer, front-end developer, and full stack developer. In the Python world, we have three positions, I said. Backend developer, front-end developer, and full stack developer. Right? Yes. Backend developer, he deals with logic and flow of data. Backend developer deals with logic and flow of data. Front-end developer responsible for what? Responsible for how data appears. How data appears, right? To users. Front-end developer, right, responsible how data appears to users. Deals with logic and flow of data. Front-end developer responsible for how data appears to users. There is how good the data is presented, right, on the web page. Front-end developer is responsible how data appears on the to the users. How good the data is presented on the web page. How good the data is presented on the web page. Full stack developer bridge the gap between these two. Bridge the gap between the above two positions. Bridge the gap between the above two positions, right? Yes. Next, first I'll talk about front-end technologies. Next, I'll come back to this back-end. Try to say what are the front-end technologies? What are the various front-end technologies? Front-end technologies. HTML. How means front-end technologies. How data appears, how good the data is presented on the web page. Using HTML, using cascading style sheets, using Bootstrap, JavaScript. Using HTML, using CSS, using Bootstrap, using JavaScript. HTML for presenting data on the web page, for presenting data on the web page. CSS for adding styles. CSS is for adding styles to HTML. For adding styles to HTML, right? Yes. Bootstrap. For predefined styles. For predefined styles. For presenting data in the web page, CSS for adding styles to HTML, Bootstrap for predefined styles. And JavaScript. JavaScript is for adding dynamic nature, for adding dynamic nature to HTML pages. HTML provides static responses. HTML provides what? Static responses. HTML plus JavaScript. HTML plus, if you are including JavaScript to it, dynamic responses. To display data, for example, to display data, like good morning. To display data like good morning, right? Yes. HTML is enough. The static response. It's a static response. To display data, good morning, HTML is enough. For dynamic responses, for example, display current date and time. HTML alone is not sufficient. We need to add JavaScript. Static and dynamic. Static and dynamic responses. Static and dynamic responses. Static response is response is not varied. If response is not varied from time to time. If response is not varied from time to time. Static response means is not varied from time to time. Example, like home page organization, home page of an organization or home page of a bank. Home page of a bank will be always not varied, right? It won't vary. Login page. Home page of organization, home page of a bank, login page of a Facebook. Dynamic responses to dynamic response. If response is varied from time to time, if response is varied from time to time, for example, mm, your balance page, of SBI, Gmail inbox, your Gmail inbox. If response is not varied from time to time, home page of an organization, home page of a bank, login page of Facebook. Dynamic response, if response is varied from time to time, balance page of SBI, Gmail inbox. Next is backend. What to display as response to the end user. Backend, right? What to display as response to the end user, right? We have four components. Here we have four components. Language. First one is language. Second is like framework. Okay. Language means, one second, I'll come back to the other components. Language means which language you are preferring, like Python, Java. Language, Python, Java. Framework means what framework you are trying to use. For example, Python, if you are using the framework, Django framework or Flask framework. Mostly used frameworks are this, but we have got another like Pyramid, Bottle, Turbo. And database, what database you want? MySQL or Oracle or SQL Server, IDE, PyCharm Professional, PyCharm Professional ID will be using VS Code. The language, the framework, the database, and this ID. So language like Python, framework like Django, and database like MySQL, right? ID like PyCharm Professional, right? VS Code. Roles and responsibilities of Python full stack developer. Roles and responsibilities of Python full stack developer. Developing and managing web applications. Developing and managing web applications. Second thing, working with the databases. Working with databases. Working with the templates. Working with the templates. Working with templates, front-end technologies. Working with backend technologies. Developing and managing web applications, working with the databases, working with templates, working with backend technologies, working with web server. Logical, problem solving skills. Developing and managing web applications, working with databases, working with templates, working with the backend technologies, working with web server, logical or problem solving skills, right? Yes. We talk about web development, full stack web development, full stack web development, right? Yes. It is a process of developing both front-end as well as it is a process of developing both the process of developing both front-end as well as back-end application. So understood, right? So here we have what three positions I said: back-end developer, front-end developer, full stack. Back-end developer deals with logic and flow of data. Front-end developers, how would you present the data on the web page? Full stack developer bridge the gap between these two positions. Front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, and this back-end technologies, right? Yes. Like language like Python, framework like Django, database like MySQL or Oracle, IDE like PyCharm Professional, right? Or VS Code. So before we go with the actual this web development, right? You need to know something about this web terminologies. Web terminologies, right? Yes. www, World Wide Web, Internet, web page, website, web application, web browser, web server, right? Yes. Web page, website, web application, web browser, and web server. First one, www, World Wide Web. It is a system of internet servers. World Wide Web is a system of internet servers that supports hypertext documents, that supports hypertext documents. These documents are called as web pages. The starting point of a document in a document. The starting point in a document is known as home page. Understand this? The system of internet servers, it is a system of internet servers that supports hypertext documents. These documents are called web page. The starting point in a document is known as home page. Web pages are identified, right? Web pages are identified by their URLs. URLs, right? Yes. Example, http:// facebook.com. URLs, right? The second thing is internet. It is a huge network of networks. It is a huge network of network. www is a service of internet. Next, web page. Document which is written. Web page, right? Document which is written in HTML. Web page, right? Yes. Document which is written in HTML, which brings together all the text. Which is written in HTML, which brings together all the text, images, audio, video, and hyperlinks. Next, web application. An application which provides otherwise, which provides service, right? Which provides service. An application which provides service. Service over the web. One more definition. An application which provides service. Okay, already we have seen an application which runs otherwise, which runs Next, web browser. The software used for browsing. The software used for browsing, right? Example, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and next is web server. The software that provides the users with the required documents to the web browser. Web framework. Next is last web framework. Right? Django is a framework, right? Web framework. It is a cloud library which helps flexible web applications. So these are the things you need to understand, right? The terminologies. I was discussing about the front end and back end developer and what are the web terminologies you need to understand, right? So World Wide Web is a system of internet servers that supports hypertext documents. These documents are called as web pages. The starting point in a document is called home page. They are identified by the URLs. Internet is a huge network of networks. It is a service of internet. World Wide Web is a service of internet. Web page document which is written in HTML, which brings together all the text, images, audio, video, hyperlinks. Web application, an application which provides service over the web. An application which runs on a web browser, right? Web application. Web browser is the software used for browsing. Web server, right? Yes. The software that provides the users with the required documents through the web browser. Web framework, it is a code library which helps to build a flexible web applications, which helps to build flexible web application. Okay. So, okay. So this is what just introduction to this, right? How to become a full stack web developer. So compulsory, if you want to develop some kind of applications or projects, compulsory this framework, Django framework is required. It is providing many flexible features. So connecting with these databases is very simple, right? So different terminologies, web terminologies, right? Yes, you can just go to this course content, what I'm going to discuss for this. Django, why Django, history of Django, features, characteristics, companies using Django, difference between MVC and MVT. In Java, we follow MVC, model view controller. Here we follow model view templates. What are web frameworks? What is a framework? What is a server? HTTP requests, HTTP responses. What is web framework? What is web application? Steps in developing web applications. Django installation, architecture, working with environment, working with Python, developing the first Django application. Django project architecture. Discussing about the different .py file, manage.py, urls.py settings, admin, models, views. Django applications creations, working with views, working with HTML, CSS, Bootstrap. A project with multiple applications, reusing application in different projects, working with static files. Django views, Django templates, Django admin, Django models, working with databases, defining models, advanced concepts like Django ORM, Faker module, class-based views, form validations, rendering forms, multi-select field, embedded video. And you will be given knowledge on this HTML in brief, CSS in brief, JavaScript in brief. So in the tomorrow's class, just I'll be briefing you with HTML, right? Before I go with the actual, I'll be briefing you with HTML. How to create a web page using HTML, starting with the HTML. Later, I'll brief you about the other things, right? Yes, fine. Any queries you have got? So tomorrow, same time at 8 o'clock to see more discussion on this. My discussion will be on HTML. So here, Django, Flask, REST API, UI technologies, everything you are going to discuss. So apart from Django, one framework, Flask, and also like REST API, and the database like MySQL, and a project. Any queries you have got, anyone? So tomorrow also follow the same link, same time at 8 o'clock to see more on this slide. In the chart, you can see this contact details of the online team. Slowly, you'll be getting the video of it, today's session. Yes, the course content is kept in the chart by the online team, right? Yes. So we'll be developing nearly 15 to 20 applications we'll be developing in this Django framework. Yes, we'll be using MySQL and Oracle databases. And Django has got its own database like SQLite 3. Okay. Right. So I'll signing off from now. If there are no queries, and we'll meet you tomorrow, same time at 8 o'clock with the same thing. More discussion on this, right? Fine.